We're going to ask ourselves a couple of very big questions today. The first question being, what the fuck is MutaJuice? And the second question being, what the fuck are video games? The first question is only slightly easier to answer. MutaJuice is an incredibly obscure choose-your-own-adventure interactive film available for the PSP. There was zero footage of the game available anywhere on YouTube, and GameFAQs even spells the name incorrectly. MutaJuice stars your typical Chosen One mech pilot simply named K, and he cares deeply for protecting others but is really shitty at piloting mechs. And I mean he's really fucking shitty at it. There's also a mysterious alien girl that seems to be tracking down an energy signal given off by K for unknown reasons. Her behavior toward K is very confusing and violent to say the least. The mysterious alien girl's arrival and her behavior around K doesn't sit well with K's purple-haired childhood friend either. But there isn't a whole lot of fucking time for relationship drama because an incredibly stylish space terrorist is about to land on the Earth and freeze it using a death machine or something. They're the bad guys. All of that may not sound particularly enticing, but I can assure you MutaJuice is equal parts Saturday morning cartoon tropes, batshit crazy surrealism, and surprising insight into the video game medium and what it means to be interactive. Instead of the normal film formula of just being introduced to these people and watching their web of relationships play out, we get an active say in how everything ends up, and we hold surprising sway over how the story ends. It's a choose-your-own adventure with at least a dozen endings, and they're not always as simple as good or bad. Your choices ultimately also decide how the characters feel about each other and how their relationships evolve. For example, the childhood friend could go on a soul-searching ride on her motorcycle by herself, or she could drag the mysterious alien girl along with her. I was shocked again and again how easily I could change the course of the entire story with a single choice, and I can't stress enough how much I wish more interactive stories were like this. Perhaps my favorite example of the power the player holds over the story is with the main antagonist and his subordinate. The subordinate has a very clear crush on the antagonist that is displayed again and again throughout the adventure. The relationship is repeatedly stressed to be abusive and unhealthy for the subordinate, and you ultimately get to choose what she does in retaliation to this abuse and unrequited love. Will she go mad with lust and literally attempt to sexually assault him? Will she be driven mad by his abuse and shoot him and accomplish his mission by herself? Will she continue to swallow down her emotional pain and work toward his ends? You, the player, get to decide this shit. There is no fucking status quo in this game. Your choices have weight. They decide the outcome of everything. And sure, making the subordinate murder the main antagonist and complete his goal for him may have ended the game early, but goddamn was I surprised when it happened. And even though the main antagonist and his subordinate are my favorite parts of MutaJuice, you exercise even more control over the main character's relationship with his childhood friend and that mysterious alien girl. If you decide to rat out the alien girl as being, well, an alien, she ends up on the autopsy table and the adventure ends right there. And that's a very extreme example. The characters all have emotional attachments to each other, and you can alter the course of the story and alter their feelings with a simple shift in dialogue. Almost nothing is off limits here. You can fuck with almost every meaningful relationship in the game just with these simple single-screen dialogue choices that leave long-lasting ramifications. It's such a simple system, but there's so much weight behind every choice and every piece of dialogue. This wacky-ass fever dream of a game says more about human relationships and interactivity than it has any right to, and I don't fucking speak Korean. I can't understand a single fucking thing any of these people are fucking saying, and I could still pick up all this shit from context alone. Well, it's absolutely no mystery why this shit didn't get localized, translated, or brought over to any other country besides Korea. It's still a fucking travesty that it wasn't. MutaJuice is like looking into an alternate universe where video games and film actually did fucking come together in perfect harmony to create something beautiful and unique. And it does it all with such an over-the-top style, sexual energy, and incredible lack of restraint. There's some really fucked up shit in here alongside your big anime mech battles and wacky slapstick. Either this is the least focus-tested thing I've ever seen, or Korea is fucking nuts. But I think MutaJuice is a fucking masterpiece, and Hidden Gem doesn't even begin to describe this shit. It's so incredibly esoteric, it's just... nobody could ever have the patience for this. Nobody has the patience to play a 2+ hour choose-your-own-adventure Korean interactive film without any subtitles just to see how goddamn brilliant it is. On the PSP. But I played it and it fucking rocks, and I'm going to upload a full run as soon as possible. I've experienced new levels of unquenchable sorrow knowing that this will never be translated into a language I can fucking understand. But now at least it's no longer lost to time, and at least one person saw something beautiful in it. God damn, I'm gonna fucking start crying.